Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session. I've just seen Ian here, and I've seen Cameron. Good morning to you. And Cameron, I'm very glad you have an 8-year-old boy who's astro obsessed. That is absolutely wonderful. Well, astro obsession is a good obsession. Okay, there are many bad obsession, but this is because of the infinite universe that we have ahead of us. It's a good obsession. You can get lost in space. So I'm very glad to hear that. Actually, today we have an interesting session. However, and I unfortunately have to say, however, we're going to postpone it because, first of all, it's beautiful weather, as you can see here on the map. So it's not the weather. The telescope is sick. We have a telescope sickness. I'm just jumping to the beautiful T27, which is a zero point 0.7 meter telescope. It's absolutely incredible. And I wanted to do some images this morning, but look what happened. Look what happened. It looks like the tracking mechanism is not working. So that is really a pity because I am very excited. What are supernova remnants? It's so interesting because supernovas, especially supernova type 1a, which I was going to talk about today, are incredibly exciting. There's a lot going on in recent research that I wanted to talk about, but I did want to connect this with a telescope, and it's important to do this live. Because it is just so much better. So the images that I took yesterday were not good enough, so I was going to repeat them this morning, and then now our telescope has got some tracking problems, so I really deeply apologize for that, but I don't want to disappoint you. I wanted to say thank you very much for being here. This is the advantage and disadvantage of being live, is that sometimes things work and sometimes they don't work. And in this case, unfortunately, it doesn't work. And I don't want to go to plan B either, where I just show you some lecture on supernova remnants, because it is just so stunning to see it live and to discuss these things live. And by the way, just of those of you who don't know what supernovas are not, as the word said, it's not something new, it's something old. It is when a star dies. And a supernova type 1a is so incredibly interesting because those are the standard candles of the universe. That means if you went to a shop and you bought a light bulb, let's say you bought a 100-watt light bulb and your neighbor bought a 100-watt light bulb, they all shine exactly at the same brightness. And as your neighbor moves away from you, they decrease their brightness according to what we call the inverse square law, because everything radiates light with a surface area, and as the surface area moves away, it's 1 over r squared. So all the main forces in nature are 1 over r squared. And so these supernovas are exact because they behave in a very, very reliable way. No matter where they are in the universe, they are always the same brightness. So they are like candles where the astronomers can measure something on. But I was going to talk about gravitational lensing and some really interesting stuff. But I don't want to just talk about it without showing you some live pictures, okay? So please excuse, sometimes we're not technically perfect. We're trying, but T27 is incredibly reliable. It's this beautiful telescope with a 0.7 meter aperture. But we're going to postpone it to a later date. And so nothing is going to be lost there. I just apologize for that. And I hope your 8-year-old grandson, Cameron, won't be too disappointed. This is part of being live, okay? So anyway, I hope I hope you could hear me okay, and that everything came across. But it looks like the public view is indeed working, so everything is fine. So much for this session. So we will postpone it to a later date. We'll carry on the next 2 weeks as usual, and I just wanted to thank you for taking the time just to being here. Hi, David from Colorado. No problem. See you next time. Ian says, well, thank you for being so tolerant. I really apologize. We have, as I said, David, if you've just joined, there's a technical problem with T27, and this is the tracking mechanism is not working, as you can see. I simply cannot take images, and we had a perfect clear sky. So I got up very early to do all this, but unfortunately it is just not possible. So I don't want to give theoretical talks. I really want to show you something special. So let's postpone the Supernova Remnants episode 14 to some later date. And yeah, I'll see you next week then. And sorry about this. And well, have a very nice weekend, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for your understanding.